dream of the 90s is alive in Turok Rage Wars. Few games show just how far this medium has come like this Turok spin-off for the N64. It was created to deliver a multiplayer-only experience in the same vein as Quake 3 Arena and Unreal Tournament, a new experience for 1999, actually just beating both those games to store shelves. Ignoring the fact that even in its day it was painfully mediocre, in 2013 it exists only to show just how wide the chasm between PC and console gamers used to be. An admirable but failed experiment by most any measure, the fact that it even exists gives it an unintentional charm. There was a multiplayer-only first-person shooter for the N64, like, how crazy is that? Turok Rage Wars is not a good game, but it is a weird and interesting game, so I'm kinda glad it exists. Putting aside for a minute how well or terribly it's aged over the years, 1997's GoldenEye will forever be a watershed game. For many, like myself, it was a landmark piece of software that stole hundreds of hours of our lives. Though, I totally understand the late 90s Quake fiend thumbing their nose at N64 fans. I mean, let's be honest here. Keyboard and mouse support, online play, a huge mod community, but shit man, for some of us, a slick gaming computer with a fast internet connection was not in the cards back in the late 90s, so we had to make do with console games, the cheaper alternative. This was the divide between consoles and PC games, and one reason why I don't tackle PC games in my reviews. I'm not really qualified, honestly, and it is for this audience for which Rage Wars was created, but the reality is, this is just as lackluster now as it was when I rented it from Blockbuster back in the day. Not from lack of trying though, giving due credit there is a lot of content here. 17 playable characters, 16 weapons with secondary fire, and 36 maps. Unfortunately, it's all couched in a game that isn't outright bad, just listless and bland. Character models are bulky and ugly even by N64 standards, though this makes them big, easy targets. The levels are every drab, dreary color of the rainbow, though the lighting isn't bad and things do look a little sharper with the expansion pack. AI-controlled bots trot around levels kinda doing their own thing and only engage if they happen upon you, so avoiding combat isn't too difficult. They don't run so much as saunter to ensure firefights are as uninteresting as possible. Controls are as clunky as ever, but combat isn't ever really very demanding. Limited animations mean guns and kills never feel satisfying. The lifeless soundtrack is often so drowned out by gunfire it's basically never heard. Though the sound effects that accompany gunfire and explosions are pretty good. In a smart move, guns are not scattered around levels different classes of ammo are. You start with every gun, you are instead scrambling for ammo. Unfortunately, weapons like the minigun and the emaciator burn through ammo extremely quickly and are basically useless. Also, the napalm gel gun is a neat idea, but shares the same slot with your rocket launcher, and given the choice, I'm taking the rocket launcher over the napalm gel thing. Thankfully, you get to choose your loadout at the start of each campaign. Still, it's almost criminal that a Turok game, a series known for its fantastic guns, has some pretty weak weapons in its arsenal. When you boil everything down, the game is basically functional. It is adequate. It's almost amazing how middling Rage Wars is. 3 genuine complaints though. The weapon select barely functions. Like I mentioned, some of these weapons are useless, and switching to a useful one shouldn't make me wonder if my controller is broken. Keeping with the Turok tradition, this game is played in inverse look controls, and this cannot be changed. Again, this game's combat is not really that demanding, but come on, only subhuman freaks of nature play inverted. Tell him, Calvin.
Fucking inverted, you can't change it, because that's the way real, like, actual human beings play a fucking game.
Monkey tag mode is absolute garbage, and in co-op mode, impossible to complete. Yo, there's actually a glitch that prevents you from finishing them in co-op. The gray cart version of Rage Wars fixed this problem, though these can only be obtained through directly contacting Acclaim. There are only maybe 120 of these in existence, thus making the gray cart Rage Wars one of the rarest games ever made, and yet another on that coveted list that is not at all worth the money. Seriously, buy some Snatcher if you got that kind of coin. Now, doesn't this bug completely break the game? Not really. It's only for the co-op, the campaign is kind of boring, and the monkey mode is flat out terrible, so avoiding all this stuff isn't really a problem. I still can't believe this game exists. It fills me with the glee, wholly without merits. It's one of the dumbest fucking games ever made, and it's one of the most mediocre shooters I've ever played, but I don't know, I kinda liked it. Turok Rage Wars is a time capsule, a game that deserves to be put in a museum and pointed at, but not really played. But if you're like me and can appreciate a dumb game, there's an hour or two of fun to be had here. It's super dumb, it's extremely mediocre, but hell, I'd probably play it again for shits and giggles. Still, that ain't no kind of way to recommend a game. Die-hard N64 and retro fans only. For everyone else, Doom 64 and GoldenEye are still king.